You're just the IT guy. You don't matter. The CEO laughed as he cut my benefits. He didn't know I owned the patent for the software. The entire company runs on. I revoked the license for breach of contract. The stock dropped 80% overnight. Hey Reddit, buckle up because this is the story of how I went from just the IT guy to the man who tanked a $1 billion company's stock in one night. And yeah, it was completely legal. Name's Joel, 37 male. This happened 6 months ago, and I'm still processing the absolute chaos that followed. Some nights I wake up thinking about how close I came to just accepting my fate. But then I remember what happened next, and I sleep like a baby. I worked at Apex Solutions for 9 years. Started as a junior systems analyst right out of college, worked my way up to senior infrastructure architect. Sounds fancy, right? To most people at the company, I was still just the guy who fixed the printer jams and reset passwords. Let me paint you a picture of what Apex was like when I started. Small operation, maybe 85 employees total, headquartered in a renovated warehouse in Seattle's industrial district. The kind of place where everyone knew everyone, and the CEO actually remembered your name at company picnics. I was 28 years old, fresh out of University of Washington, with a degree in computer science, and about 73,000 in student loans hanging over my head. Apex offered me 52,000 a year, which felt like winning the lottery at the time. My apartment was a shoebox in Fremont, with 3 roommates and a bathroom that smelled like mildew. But I had a job in my field, and that's all that mattered. The work was straightforward at first. Database maintenance, user support, keeping the network from imploding every time someone opened too many browser tabs. Our systems were ancient. I'm talking software from the late 90s, held together with duct tape and prayers. The main platform was this monstrosity called DataCore Legacy. It handled everything from inventory management to client billing to project tracking. The thing crashed minimum twice a week, lost data randomly, required manual reboots that took 3 hours. We had 6 people whose entire job was just keeping it functional. I spent my first 2 years learning that system inside and out. Every quirk, every bug, every workaround. Got really good at explaining to angry department heads why their quarterly reports disappeared into the void. Here's what nobody knew. 5 years into my time there, I built something revolutionary. Year 5 was when I hit my breaking point with DataCore. We'd just lost a major client, Patterson Industrial, worth $4.2 million annually, because our system corrupted 3 months of their project data. Just gone. Vanished into the digital void like it never existed. The CTO at the time, this guy named Ron, called an emergency meeting. We need to upgrade, Ron said. DataCore is killing us. Management brought in consultants. 3 different firms, each one quoting between $15 and $22 million for a complete overhaul. Implementation time, 24 to 36 months. The board rejected every proposal. Too expensive, too risky, too long. So we stayed with DataCore. And I stayed angry. That's when I started working on something in my off hours. My girlfriend at the time, Rebecca, was a nurse who worked rotating shifts. She'd leave for work, and I'd sit down at my home office setup. Nothing fancy, just a desktop I'd built myself and 3 monitors I'd bought on Black Friday sales. And I'd code. Every night. Sometimes until 3 a.m. weekends were fair game too. Rebecca hated it. You work all day, then you come home and work all night on the same stuff. It's different, I'd tell her. This is mine. I spent 18 months building that system from scratch. Learned Python even though I'd only done Java and C++ before. Taught myself 3 different frameworks. Watched probably 400 hours of tutorials. Read documentation until my eyes blurred. The framework I built was adaptive. It learned from usage patterns, optimized its own processes, scaled automatically based on demand. It could handle 10 times Apex's current data load without breaking a sweat. The interface was clean, intuitive. People could actually use it without needing a manual and a prayer. I tested it against DataCore using our actual company data. My system processed everything 73% faster with 0 errors. 0. But here's the thing I did that saved my future. I built it entirely on my own time, with my own equipment, using my own resources. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. on weekends to put in extra hours. Used vacation days to code instead of actually relaxing. Spent $38,000 of my own money on server time, software licenses, development tools, and courses. Rebecca left me in month 14 of the project. Found me in the office at 11 p.m. on a Saturday. Hadn't showered in 2 days. Surrounded by energy drink cans and pizza boxes? I can't do this anymore, Joel. You're obsessed. She wasn't wrong. I was obsessed. But I was also building something that would change everything. The day I finished the beta version, I sat back in my chair at 4:17 a.m. and just stared at the screen. 18 months of my life, right there, functioning. Beautiful. Perfect. I crashed for 14 hours straight after that. When I finally showed it to Ron, the guy nearly fell out of his chair. Joel, this is incredible. This is exactly what we need. Better than any consultant proposal I've seen. Yeah, I said. I know. How long would implementation take? I can have us fully operational in 6 weeks. Ron's eyes went wide. 6 weeks? The consultant said 2 years minimum. I built it specifically for our infrastructure. It's plug and play. Ron called an executive meeting the next day. I did the demo in the main conference room. Showed them processing speed, data integrity, scalability, the whole package. The CFO, this woman named Margaret, asked the question I'd been waiting for. What's this going to cost us? I'll license it to the company. Reasonable terms. You're licensing it? This isn't company property? That's when I pulled out the documentation my lawyer friend Kevin had helped me prepare. Built entirely outside work hours using personal resources and equipment. According to my employment contract, it's my intellectual property. But I'm happy to let Apex use it. Margaret looked at Ron. Ron looked at the CEO, Andrew. Andrew looked at me. What are your terms? I'd thought about this moment for months. Rehearsed it in my head while debugging code at 2 a.m. License it for $50,000 a year. Adjusted for inflation annually. And I maintain full ownership of the patent and codebase. Andrew nodded slowly. That's more than reasonable. Hell, Joel, we'd probably pay 10 times that for what you've shown us. I know, I said, but I'm not trying to gouge anyone. I just want protection. Kevin had been very clear about this. Keep the licensing fee reasonable, but maintain ownership. That ownership is your insurance policy. They agreed. We signed the contracts. I got a bonus for the implementation. $12,000 in a plaque that said Innovation Excellence. I'd spent 38 grand building the thing, but whatever. I had my protection, and that's what mattered. Implementation took exactly 5 weeks and 3 days. We shut down DataCore on a Friday night, migrated everything to my system over the weekend. Monday morning, people came in and everything just worked. No crashes, no errors, no frantic calls to IT about lost data. People didn't know what to do with themselves. Our help desk tickets dropped 67% in the first week. Within 6 months, the results were undeniable. Apex could suddenly take on contracts we'd been turning down for years. Projects that DataCore would have choked on? My system handled them without blinking. Our client base exploded. Engineering firms started coming to us for complex data management. Manufacturing companies wanted our logistics tracking. Revenue went from $47 million annually to $89 million in year 1. By year 2, we hit $136 million. Year 3, $183 million. The company grew from 85 employees to over 400. Opened offices in Portland and Austin. The original warehouse got replaced with a proper corporate building in South Lake Union. I got promoted to senior infrastructure architect. My salary climbed to $94,000. Good money, but nothing insane considering I'd built the engine powering the entire operation. For 4 years, everything was smooth. Then Andrew retired. December 2023, he announced he was stepping down. The board started hunting for a replacement. They wanted someone dynamic who could take Apex to the next level. January 2024, they hired Gregory Chen, 34 years old, Stanford MBA, 3 years at a private equity firm where he'd restructured operational efficiency at 6 different companies. Translation: he cut costs, fired people, and made short-term numbers look good. Andrew warned me before he left. We grabbed coffee near the office. Joel, watch yourself with Gregory. Guy's smart, but he doesn't understand what we built here. Gregory started February 1st. First week, I walked into his office for our one-on-one. Guy had already rearranged everything. The walls had these motivational posters about embracing disruption. I already hated him. Joel, good to meet you. He didn't stand up. We talked about my system. He seemed suspicious of the licensing arrangement. Seems like we're overpaying. System's been in place for years. My jaw tightened. Because it's my intellectual property. The fee includes ongoing maintenance and updates. Right. We'll revisit that. Second week, Gregory called an all-hands meeting. Packed the conference room. He stood at the front with a presentation clicker. We need to evolve. If we don't adapt, we die. He clicked to the next slide. Operational Optimization Initiative. Corporate speak for layoffs. He went through 47 slides. By slide 23, he got to IT. Our technology infrastructure requires modernization. We're overstaffed and underperforming. That was garbage. My team was lean and efficient. March came around. March 15th started like any other Thursday. Got to the office at 7:45, grabbed coffee from the lobby machine, checked overnight system logs. Everything running perfect. Zero errors, 99.97% uptime for the month. At 9:30, my calendar pinged. Meeting invite from Gregory's assistant. Compensation discussion, conference room B, 10 a.m. No context, no agenda, just that. I should have known right then. Conference room B was the small one, the one they used for firing people. It had soundproofing and no windows. Private. I walked in at exactly 10 o'clock. Gregory was there with Amanda Reeves, the new CFO he'd brought in from his last company. She was mid-30s, always looked like she just smelled something rotten, and sitting in the corner was this guy I'd never seen before. Expensive suit, leather portfolio, the corporate lawyer look. "Joel, have a seat," Gregory said, again with the not standing up. Power play. I sat down. "We're making some changes to our compensation structure," Gregory started, that fake friendly tone that made my skin crawl. "Part of our operational optimization. We're moving to a performance-based model that better aligns with industry standards." Amanda slid a folder across the table. "These are the new terms." I opened it. My salary reduced from $94,000 to $67,800, a 28% cut. Annual bonus eliminated entirely. Health insurance switched to a high deductible plan where I'd be paying $6,000 out of pocket before coverage even started. Vacation days reduced from 18 to 12. I looked up. "This is a joke, right?" "These are market rate corrections," Amanda said. Clinical, like she was reading from a script. "We've analyzed comparable positions across the industry. I built the entire system this company runs on." Gregory smiled. Not friendly. Condescending. "And we appreciate that contribution. But that was 5 years ago, Joel. This is about current value, not past accomplishments." "Our current value? The system runs everything. Every single department. Every client contract. All on my platform." "Our platform," Gregory corrected. "We license it, yes, but it's integrated into company operations. It's not like you're actively developing new features." I stared at him. "I maintain it. I update it. I ensure 99.9% uptime. That's active work. Work that, frankly, doesn't require your current compensation level." He leaned forward. "Joel, let's be realistic about your position here. You're in IT, technical support. You're a valuable member of the team, sure, but you're not exactly mission critical. You're in IT, not mission critical. I'd pulled all-nighters when systems went critical, canceled family events to fix emergencies, built something from scratch that transformed the entire company from a struggling mid-tier operation into a regional powerhouse. And this guy, who'd been here 8 weeks, was telling me I wasn't mission critical. What about everyone else? I asked. Is this happening across the board? The technical staff will see similar adjustments, Amanda said. Directors and above retain their current packages. Right. So the guys actually doing work get gutted, while management keeps their full salaries. And if I don't agree to these terms? Gregory's smile got sharper. Then we'd have to seriously evaluate your position at Apex. These changes are happening. The only question is whether you're part of the future here. The lawyer in the corner slid papers across the table. Sign here, here, and here. Changes effective April 1st. I looked at those documents, thought about my licensing agreement, that very specific clause Kevin had insisted on. License valid contingent on continued employment in good standing and maintenance of agreed-upon compensation structure. Maintenance of agreed-upon compensation structure. They were about to breach the contract. Unilaterally. Can I have 24 hours to review this? Gregory's jaw tightened. Joel, this isn't really a negotiation. We've made a business decision based on market analysis and operational needs. So that's a no? That's a, we need your signature today. I stared at him. He stared back. Amanda checked her watch. Actual power move. Looking at her watch like my career mattered less than her lunch reservation. Joel, Gregory said, and his tone shifted. Harder now. Let me be very clear. You fix computers. You reset passwords. You keep systems running. That's important work. But it's not strategic. It's not leadership. You're not irreplaceable. You fix computers. 9 years at this company. A system that generated $136 million in annual revenue directly and supported another $400 million in operations. I'd sacrificed a relationship, countless nights of sleep, thousands of my own dollars. And to this Stanford MBA who'd been here 2 months, I was just the guy who fixed computers. You're making a mistake, I said quietly. No, Joel. We're making the right business decision. and you're going to sign these papers, or you're going to find yourself making a very different kind of decision. The threat was clear. I picked up the pen, signed every page. Gregory smiled. Excellent. Welcome to Apex 2.0. I stood up and walked out. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, from pure, concentrated rage. Made it back to my office, closed the door, sat down at my desk, stared at my computer screen for probably 5 minutes without moving. Ron knocked. Came in without waiting for an answer. Joel, I just heard. I'm sorry. I fought against this, but Gregory's got the board convinced this is necessary. It's fine, I lied. It's not fine. It's garbage. You built this place. Apparently, I just fixed computers. Ron winced. He actually said that? Word for word. Joel. Ron looked genuinely conflicted. I'm trying to push back where I can, but he's got authority I don't have anymore. New organizational structure. I report to him now. I understand. Ron left. I sat there for another 10 minutes. Then I pulled out my phone and called Kevin. Hey man, what's up? I need to see you. Tonight. It's important. Something in my tone made him not ask questions. I'll be at Stella's at 7. See you there. I barely functioned the rest of the day. Answered tickets on autopilot, avoided everyone, left at exactly 5 p.m. Met Kevin at Stella's Coffee near his office downtown. He was already there when I arrived, working on his laptop. Corporate law, always grinding. I sat down and explained everything. The meeting, the pay cut, Gregory's comments, word for word. Kevin listened without interrupting. When I finished, he just sat there for a second. Do you still have your licensing agreement? Yeah. Why? Pull it up. I opened my email, found the signed contract, showed him. Kevin read through it, then read it again, then started grinning. Joel, do you understand what you have here? A contract? A nuclear option. He pointed at Clause 7, subsection 3. License valid contingent on continued employment in good standing and maintenance of agreed-upon compensation structure. Yeah, that's the protection we put in. Joel, they just breached this contract. Unilaterally reduced your compensation. That directly violates the licensing terms. You can revoke their license immediately. The weight of that hit me like a truck. What happens if I do that? Kevin leaned back, that lawyer grin getting wider. Their entire system stops working. They can't access your software, can't process data, can't fulfill contracts, can't operate. The whole company grinds to a complete halt. That's legal? Completely. It's your intellectual property. They broke the contract, you withdraw the license. It's cleaner than a whistle. We can document everything. The compensation reduction, the breach of terms, your right to terminate. Any judge would side with you immediately. I sat there processing. What about my job? They'll fire me instantly. Probably. But you'll have cause to sue for wrongful termination. Plus, you'll hold all the leverage. They'll come crawling back begging you to restore access. And that's when you name your price. Kevin, this could destroy the company. 400 people work there. 400 people whose CEO just decided to slash your pay after you built the platform that employs them all. Kevin's expression got serious. Joel, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what's legally possible. Gregory made a business decision. You can make one too. I thought about it. Thought about Rebecca leaving because I was too obsessed with building something great. Thought about the $38,000 I'd spent, the missed family events, the sacrificed weekends, the nights I'd worked until I couldn't see straight, all to build something that transformed a struggling company into a success story. And Gregory's words kept echoing. You fix computers. You're not exactly irreplaceable. How do I do it? Kevin opened his laptop. We draft a revocation notice. Cite every clause they violated. Document the compensation reduction. Reference your patent ownership. Send it via certified mail, email, and through their legal department portal. Make it official. Make it airtight. We spent the next 3 hours drafting that notice. Kevin was meticulous. Every sentence legally bulletproof. Every citation precise. Every claim documented with evidence. By 10 p.m., we had it ready. One more thing, Kevin said. You built a kill switch into the system, right? Yeah. Authentication protocol. If their license status changes, access gets revoked automatically. How fast does it work? Immediate. The second their credentials show as invalid, the system locks them out. Kevin nodded slowly. Joel, once you send this notice, there's no going back. You need to be absolutely sure. I looked at that document. Pages of legal language that basically said, you broke our deal, now you lose access to everything. What would you do? I asked. Kevin considered it. Honestly, I'd be terrified. This is nuclear. But Gregory disrespected everything you built. Treated you like you're disposable. Sometimes people need to learn lessons the expensive way. I thought about my team. Good people who'd get caught in this mess. But I also thought about Gregory's smug face. The way he dismissed my work. The casual cruelty of cutting my pay while keeping his own bloated salary. Do it, I said. Send the notice. Kevin hit send at 10:37 p.m. on March 19th, exactly 4 days after that conference room meeting. The email went to Gregory, Amanda, the entire board of directors, and Apex's legal department. The certified letter would arrive Friday morning. What now? I asked. Now you go home, get some sleep, and prepare for chaos. I didn't sleep much that night. Friday, March 22nd. I got to work at my normal time, 7:45 a.m. Everything seemed normal. People getting coffee, settling into their desks, the usual Friday morning vibe. At 9:17 a.m., Gregory's assistant called my desk phone. Joel, Mr. Chen needs to see you immediately. I'll be there in a few minutes. He said immediately. I walked to Gregory's office. The door was open. He was standing by his window, phone pressed to his ear, looking tense. Saw me and ended the call abruptly. What the hell is this? He shoved a paper across his desk. The revocation notice Kevin had sent. It's exactly what it says. I'm revoking Apex's license to use my software. You can't do that. I can. You breached our licensing agreement when you reduced my compensation, so the license is terminated. Gregory's face went red. This is insane. You're going to shut down the entire company? I'm enforcing my contract. The same contract you ignored when you cut my pay. Joel, be reasonable. I was reasonable for 9 years. I built something that made this company wildly successful. And you decided I was just a guy who fixes computers. I never said, you said exactly that. Conference Room B, March 15th, 10:17 a.m. Quote, you fix computers. You're not exactly irreplaceable. Remember? He went quiet. So now you get to find out how replaceable I actually am. We'll sue you into the ground. Good luck. My lawyers already reviewed everything. I'm completely within my rights. You want to fight this in court? We'll be there. But every day your systems are down, you're hemorrhaging money. I left his office, walked back to my desk, set an alarm on my phone for 4:47 p.m. The rest of the day was surreal. Went to meetings, answered questions, everything normal. Except Gregory and Amanda kept disappearing into closed-door conferences. The legal team kept calling me, and I kept forwarding them to Kevin. At 4:35 p.m., I backed up my personal files to a thumb drive. At 4:42 p.m., I sent a company-wide email. If you need anything from me, reach out by end of day. Availability may be limited starting Monday. At 4:46 p.m., I logged into the back end of my system. Changed the license status for Apex Solutions from active to terminated. At exactly 4:47 p.m., their access revoked. Every terminal, every process, every dashboard just stopped. I watched through my office window as monitors across the floor went dark, heard confused voices. Is the system down? I just lost everything. Is this a network issue? At 4:52 p.m., my desk phone started ringing. The CTO. I let it go to voicemail. Another call. Ron from infrastructure. Voicemail. At 5:02 p.m., my personal cell rang. Gregory. I answered. Joel, what the hell did you just do? I revoked your license to use my software. It's in the email I sent this morning. You breached our agreement when you cut my compensation. You can't just shut down the entire company. Actually, I can. It's my intellectual property. The license agreement was very clear about the terms. You violated those terms. Silence. Background noise. Other people shouting. Phones ringing. This is insane, Gregory finally said. You're going to destroy us over a pay adjustment? I'm enforcing my contract, the same way you enforced yours when you decided I wasn't worth my salary. Joel, listen to me. No, you listen. You had 9 years of me being loyal, building systems, fixing problems, making this company successful, and you repaid that by cutting my pay 28% and telling me I was replaceable. I didn't mean... You meant exactly what you said. You assessed my value, decided it was less than my compensation, and cut me down. So now I'm showing you my actual value. Every single operation you run is built on my platform, and without access to that platform, you're dead in the water. We'll sue you. Your lawyers already have my contact info. Feel free. Joel, be reasonable. We can work this out. Reasonable? You want reasonable? I actually laughed. Okay, here's reasonable. You breached a legally binding contract. I'm terminating the license per the terms we both signed. If you want to renegotiate, have your lawyers contact mine. Until then, Good luck running your company without any functioning systems. I hung up, packed up my desk, not much to take, coffee mug, a photo, some personal items. Walked out of that building at 5:23 p.m. while chaos erupted around me. Got in my car, drove home, ordered Thai food, and watched Netflix. My phone kept buzzing. Texts, calls, emails. I ignored all of it. The following 72 hours were absolutely unhinged. Saturday morning, Kevin called at 8:43 a.m. Joel, you need to see this. He sent me a link to a Bloomberg article. Apex Solutions stock plummets 34% on system failure. The markets had opened in overnight trading. News was leaking that their systems were completely down. Investors were panicking. My email inbox was flooded. Colleagues asking what happened. Recruiters. Even reporters. I ignored all of it. Saturday afternoon, Ron called. Joel, what did you do? I enforced my contract. The entire company is dead in the water. We can't process anything. Payroll's locked. Everyone's scrambling. They should have thought about that before cutting my pay. Joel, Ron sighed. Gregory's an idiot, but 400 people work here. That got to me. Ron, what was I supposed to do? Let them disrespect everything I built? I don't know. Maybe. Would you? Long pause. No, probably not. Sunday morning brought more chaos. Stock dropped another 28%. Total decline, 62%. Business outlets ran it as a major story. Some portrayed me as vindictive. Others called it David versus Goliath. Sunday at 3:47 p.m., I got an email from Apex's board. Subject, urgent meeting request. Body, Mr. Joel, we would appreciate the opportunity to discuss a resolution. Please contact us at your earliest convenience. I forwarded it to Kevin. He called 10 minutes later. They're ready to negotiate. Monday morning, Kevin and I drafted our proposal. $8 million one-time licensing fee. $2 million annually going forward. Full restoration of my compensation, plus 40% raise to $131,600. Ironclad employment contract. And Gregory's immediate resignation. Kevin looked at that last item. This might be a deal breaker. Then they don't get their systems back. We sent it Monday at 11 a.m. By 2 p.m., we got a response requesting an in-person meeting. Tuesday, 9 a.m., Kevin and I walked into Apex headquarters. The lobby was chaos. Phones ringing nonstop. Employees clustered in groups, whispering. Security looked stressed. We took the elevator to the executive floor. The entire board of directors was there. 8 people around a conference table. Gregory sitting at one end, looking like he'd aged 5 years and 4 days. Amanda next to him, pale and quiet. Harrison, the board chairman, stood up when we entered. Old school guy, built his fortune in manufacturing, semi-retired but still influential. Joel, Kevin, thank you for coming. We sat down. The room was tense. You could feel it. Harrison cleared his throat. Let's be direct. We're in a crisis. 4 days of complete system failure. Our market cap has dropped $1.2 billion. 7 major clients have filed breach of contract notices. 15 more are threatening legal action. We're hemorrhaging approximately $4.8 million per day in losses and penalties. He slid a printed analysis across the table. Numbers, projections, disaster scenarios. We need those systems operational. We understand there was a dispute about compensation. We're prepared to resolve it. Kevin pulled out our proposal. These are our terms. Harrison read it, passed it to the next board member. It went around the table. Gregory's face went from pale to red. This is extortion, he said. No, Kevin replied calmly. This is a licensing agreement. You're free to decline and develop your own systems. Everyone at that table knew that was impossible. Building a replacement would take years and tens of millions of dollars. They'd be bankrupt long before it was functional. $8 million is ridiculous, Amanda said. Her first words since we'd arrived. Actually, it's quite reasonable, Kevin said. Your company generated approximately $183 million annually using Mr. Joel's software for 5 years. That's $915 million in revenue directly enabled by his intellectual property. He licensed it to you for $50,000 annually. You paid $250,000 total for nearly $1 billion in value. He let that sink in. The $8 million represents approximately 0.87% of the value his system created. In any reasonable valuation, that's extraordinarily generous. One of the board members, a woman named Patricia, spoke up. What about the ongoing annual fee? $2 million seems high. It's adjusted for inflation and accounts for ongoing maintenance, updates, and technical support, Kevin explained. Industry standard for enterprise software licensing of this complexity runs $3 to $7 million annually. $2 million is below market. Harrison looked directly at me. Joel, I want to apologize. Personally. What Gregory did was unacceptable. We trusted his judgment about operational changes, and clearly that was a mistake. Gregory started to object. Harrison cut him off with a look. We should have valued your contribution properly from the beginning, Harrison continued. You built something extraordinary, and instead of treating you like the asset you are, we let you be marginalized. I appreciate that, I said. Will you accept our apology and agree to restore access? Not yet. Harrison raised an eyebrow. There's one more item on our proposal, I said. Gregory's resignation. The room went dead silent. Gregory shot out of his chair. Absolutely not. This is absurd. Sit down, Gregory, Harrison said quietly. I will not be forced out by... Sit down. Gregory sat. Harrison looked at me. That's a significant ask. Gregory created this situation. He cut my pay, dismissed my contribution, and breached our contract. Every dollar you've lost, every client you're losing, every point your stock has dropped, that's on him. I was implementing necessary operational changes, Gregory said. You were cutting costs without understanding what you were cutting, I shot back. You saw a $94,000 salary and thought, that's too much for IT, without bothering to learn that the entire company runs on systems I built. That's not strategy. That's incompetence. Patricia leaned forward. Gregory, be honest. Did you know Joel had built the platform before you made the compensation changes? Gregory hesitated. Did you? Patricia pressed. I knew he'd contributed to development, yes. Did you know he owned the patent? Longer pause. I was not fully aware of the licensing arrangement. So you cut the pay of the man who owns the intellectual property your entire operation depends on, without even reading his contract? Gregory had no answer for that. Harrison looked around the table. We need to vote. Joel's terms include Gregory's resignation. All in favor? Hands went up. 1, 2, 3. Patricia, the CFO from the manufacturing subsidiary. 2 other board members I didn't know. 6 out of 8. More than enough. Harrison turned to Gregory. You have until end of business today to submit your resignation. Make it voluntary, make it quiet, and we'll provide your full severance package. Otherwise, we terminate you for cause, and you get nothing. Gregory looked like he'd been punched in the stomach. This is insane. I've been CEO for 9 weeks. And in 9 weeks, you've cost this company over $1 billion in market value and nearly destroyed our entire operation, Harrison said. I think you've done enough. Gregory stood up, looked at me with pure hatred. You'll regret this. Probably not, I said. He walked out. Amanda followed. Harrison turned to me. The rest of the terms. We accept. $8 million, $2 million annually. Your salary restored with the raise, protected contract. We'll have the paperwork ready by tomorrow morning. Kevin and I exchanged glances. One condition, I said. I want Patricia as the next CEO. Everyone looked at Patricia. She looked surprised. Joel, I'm not... You asked the right questions. You saw through Gregory's incompetence. This company needs someone who actually thinks before making decisions. Harrison nodded slowly. Patricia's been with us as an advisor for 3 years. Former CEO of 2 successful companies. It's not a bad suggestion. I'd have to think about it, Patricia said. Think fast, Harrison replied. We need stability immediately. Patricia looked at me. If I do this, you'll restore system access? The moment the contracts are signed and the licensing fee is transferred, access is restored. Then I'll do it. The board voted again. Unanimous. Wednesday morning, Kevin and I returned to sign the agreements. $8 million wired to an account Kevin had set up. $2 million annual licensing fee, paid quarterly. Salary, $131,600. Full benefits, stock options, protected contract. Gregory's resignation was already public. Stepping down to pursue other opportunities. Nobody believed it. Patricia was announced as interim CEO, with board approval to remove the interim after 90 days. I restored system access at 10:47 a.m. Wednesday. Every terminal came back online. Data intact. Processes resumed. The relief in that building was palpable. Thursday, the stock recovered 41%. Still down overall from the crisis, but climbing. Friday, business journals ran stories about the dramatic resolution. Some called it unprecedented. Others called it a cautionary tale about undervaluing key employees. I became a minor celebrity in tech circles. Got interview requests from major publications. Declined all of them. Kevin, on the other hand, was thrilled. I'm putting this case in my portfolio. Best contract enforcement I've ever done. Monday, I came back to work. Walking through those doors was surreal. People stared, Some smiled, some looked away. Everyone knew the story by then. It had leaked everywhere. My team, the developers and analysts who'd worked under me, actually applauded when I walked in. "Welcome back, boss," said Rachel, my lead developer. "Thanks, good to be back." Ron pulled me aside. "Joel, I'm glad you won. Gregory was going to gut this whole department. You saved us. I saved myself. You guys just benefited. Either way, thanks." Patricia called me to her office that afternoon. The office Gregory had occupied for 9 weeks was completely different now. The minimalist furniture was gone. The motivational posters were gone. It looked like an actual workspace. "Joel, sit." I sat. "I want to be very clear about something," she started. "What happened here was inexcusable. You built something extraordinary, and instead of valuing it, we treated you as expendable. I appreciate that. I also want you to know that changes are happening. Real changes. It is getting properly funded. Your team is getting the respect and compensation they deserve. And anyone who talks about you like Gregory did will be shown the door immediately." She slid a document across her desk. "This is your new contract. Everything we agreed to, plus one addition." I read it. The addition: annual performance review with guaranteed minimum 5% raise, plus discretionary bonuses based on system performance. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. You saved this company twice. Once by building the system, again by forcing us to recognize our mistakes. That's worth rewarding. I signed it. "One more thing," Patricia said. "I want your input on all major operational decisions going forward. Formal advisory role. If we're making changes that affect infrastructure, I want to hear from you first." "You're serious?" "Completely. Gregory's mistake was thinking he knew everything. I know what I don't know, and I don't know what you know. So I'm asking for your expertise." That actually meant something. Over the next few weeks, things stabilized. The stock recovered to about 85% of its pre-crisis value. Some clients came back. Others were lost permanently. But the company survived. Patricia turned out to be exactly what Apex needed. She rebuilt relationships with clients, restructured management to include more collaboration, and actually listened to department heads instead of just dictating changes. My team grew to 12 people. I made sure every single one got fair compensation and good benefits. I'd learned that lesson the expensive way. The $8 million sat in investments. I didn't go crazy with it. Bought a nicer apartment in Capitol Hill, paid off my student loans, started a college fund for my nephew, invested the rest conservatively. The $2 million annual licensing fee kept coming. Quarterly payments like clockwork. First payment hit in June. Watching that deposit clear was satisfying in a way I can't quite describe. People from my past reached out. Rebecca, my ex-girlfriend who'd left during the development phase, sent a text. "I saw the news. Always knew you were smart. Sorry I didn't see it then." I didn't respond. Ron's wife sent me cookies. Homemade. With a note. "Thank you for not letting them win." I ate the cookies. 6 months later, I'm still here. Stock recovered to 87%. Patricia rebuilt client relationships, fixed Gregory's mess, actually listened to people. My team's at 15 people now. Rachel got promoted to lead developer. 2 new hires from Microsoft who wanted to work somewhere that valued tech. The quarterly licensing payments hit like clockwork. First one cleared in June. 500,000 deposited. Didn't celebrate. Just nodded and kept working. July, Patricia called me in. 3 companies want to license your platform. Combined offer, $12 million annually. I signed deals with all 3 by August. My accountant called it the best contract structure he'd ever seen. October brought something unexpected. Gregory sued me. Filed a complaint claiming I'd sabotaged operations and damaged his reputation. Wanted $8 million. Kevin called me laughing. Not a chance. We have everything documented. Case got dismissed. Judge called it frivolous. Gregory got hit with my legal fees. $47,000. Heard he sold his condo to pay it. November, Apex landed a $94 million logistics deal. Patricia sent me a message. "This happens because your system can handle it." The board voted me a $250,000 bonus. I split it with my team. December, Rebecca emailed wanting to meet. Said she'd made a mistake. I deleted it. July, I ran into Amanda at a coffee shop. "I wanted to apologize," she said. "I should have pushed back harder. You were doing your job. My job was to protect the company. I nearly destroyed it." She'd left Apex in January. Freelance consulting now. She asked if I was hiring. I said no. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.